Final Fantasy games take a long time to be made, but even by Square Enix standards, 10 years is a ridiculous development cycle. Not only that, but Final Fantasy XIII was a bit of a letdown, and since 2006, we've seen a bunch of artistic projects take too long to be made and suffer because of it. Think Duke Nukem Forever, Detox, Chinese Democracy. The last 10 years have been a scary time for Final Fantasy fans. So when I first booted up Final Fantasy XV, I was a little bit concerned. The first few hours were like a tutorial, but not a tutorial. I mean, there was an explicit tutorial at the beginning, but then the first few hours pretended to not be a tutorial, but it was still pretty slow. Thankfully, at the end of it, the story begins to pick up. Then, around chapter 3, the world opens up, you get access to side quests, feels like a Final Fantasy game, and I was hooked. You'll play as Prince Noctis, who's trying to take down an empire that betrayed his father and kingdom. Things get very complicated from there, which is pretty standard for the franchise. Square even made a prequel film called Kingsglaive, which I highly recommend. It sets up much of the backstory of the game, and is itself quite fun. Your party in 15 is composed of your 3 friends, Ignis, Prompto, and Gladiolus. In between slaying monsters with these dudes, you'll stay at campsites, hang out at diners, and go on road trips. I didn't like any of the 4 as much as franchise standouts like Balthier or Orin, but the relationship feels authentic and it works as the game's emotional core. Fans of the franchise won't be let down by 15's story, but even with the prequel film, it's not on the same level as Final Fantasy 7 or 10. Thankfully though, it's a big improvement over the very forgettable 13. I don't even remember anyone in that game other than Lightning and the dude with chickens in his hair. I beat the game at around the 30-hour mark, and about 10 hours of that was side quests. I saw a lot in that 30 hours, and while it technically is short for a Final Fantasy game, it didn't feel short in a good way. Final Fantasy does turn-based combat better than anyone, but a fully real-time system is a fresh take for the franchise. The game's combat isn't as deep as previous entries, but I found it satisfying. It's actually more similar to Kingdom Hearts than other Final Fantasy games. Tetsuya Nomura served as Final Fantasy XV's director for about 6 years, and he also directed Kingdom Hearts, so it's no surprise. You don't get to control Ignis, Prompto, or Gladiolus, but it feels like a team, with everyone doing their part, often joining Noct for powerful team attacks. That's not all there's new though. There are no mages, so you'll do most of your healing with items, and spells aren't cast. Instead, you'll lob balls of magic at enemies. It's hard to call the new system a step forward, but it's something different and it works. Summons are back, although they work completely differently. You can't call them up strategically anymore. You'll get a prompt every now and then on your screen to call one up. There are no real cringy moments, even in the emotional scenes, which is more than I can say about previous Final Fantasy games. Looking at you, Titus and Yuna.
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
One real downside to the game though, traveling around Eos can be a bit of a bummer. Walking's too slow to get anywhere. Chocobos are alright for short journeys. If you've got a long trek to make, you'll have to drive. They're like in-game ad breaks. Whenever I couldn't fast travel, I found myself checking Twitter, making food, or watching something on YouTube. I was 14 when this game was announced. So how'd 14-year-old Daniel feel about it? I've enjoyed it more than any Final Fantasy game since I was 14, so that's a good start. It's been a sketchy few years, but Final Fantasy's back.